Hi there, this is Eileen Clausen. I'm from the TPT store, Eileen Clausen, as well as the blog Learning to the Core. And today I just wanted to share with you my guided reading passages packs. I have the passages packs for levels pre-A all the way up to level P, and that aligns with Fontes and Pinnell. So if you use the Fontes and Pinnell leveling system or assessment benchmarking system, these match up with that and are perfect for you. So I've been a reading specialist for the past 7 years, and I was a kindergarten teacher for a few years before that. And what I realized is that teaching guided reading is a true challenge because you normally don't have enough resources at your fingertips in order to actually get through a good guided reading lesson with the level that is matching up to those students. So I made these as a way to make my life easier and your life easier, because I know I'm not the only one who has the challenge of finding good resources to use in guided reading groups. So each student gets their individual reading folder, and these are perfect for keeping in the classroom, keeping in their book baskets, taking home to do as reading time with family, or just at the end of the year when they're all done, they can definitely take it home. So each student has their own folder, and for us, in our first few minutes of the guided reading group, I always have my students grab their folder, grab their little whisper phone if they want it, and they go off and reread any of the stories that we've previously read that are still in their folder. The younger kids really love using the whisper phone to hear themselves read. It's a great tool for fluency, but I know as they get older, they get a little, they think they're a little mature for those whisper phones, but they're fun anyway. So each passage comes with a detailed lesson plan, and the lesson plan focuses on a 15 to 20 minute guided reading lesson with a before reading portion, during reading, and after reading. This is totally up to you and what works for your schedule. If you don't have 15 to 20 minutes every day, then you can just split this lesson up into more than one day. If you have more than 15 to 20 minutes, you can really take a longer time focusing on the word work that is included in these lesson plans. So the before reading part focuses on a quick picture walk and word work. As you can see there, I have 5 minutes listed for this, but again, if you have more time, by all means, you might spend a whole day on word work if you know that a specific group needs that much more help with it, or you might just kind of breeze through that if they don't really need to focus too much on it. So the picture walk is something as simple as looking at the passage together, and you're just saying, today the title of our story is, for this example, baseball teams. This story is about a girl joining a new baseball team. That's it. That's all they need to know. And then you're going to go through the different parts of the word work that's all listed very specifically right there for you. You can choose to say everything that's there or focus on specific things that relate directly to that group that you're working with. And then I just wanted to show you more specifics. So here's an example of targeting a specific skill of digraphs before actually reading. So this group for this story was going to be working on finding digraphs in the story, specifically SH and TH. So this would be one way that I would expand the word work portion. We'd go through and they can use whatever it is to make the lesson more engaging and fun for the students. So I would use whiteboards where I might have written down words that are in the story already. They might go through the passage and find those words. They might make it with magnetic letters or little cubes, whatever you have. I have every possible kind of word work material in my classroom just so that I can reach all my different learners and keep them engaged. Here's another example from the word work portion of the lesson plan. So again, I always have sight words focus and vocabulary focus for most of the levels. Once it gets into the higher levels at third grade, I no longer include the sight words because by then they should be really pretty strong in any sort of sight word. But so you might write them on a little Post-it note so they can see them in front of them. You might write it on the whiteboard. And it's just a way to introduce those words that they're going to be seeing in the story. So they're seeing them in isolation first, and then once they are actually reading the story, they'll be excited to say, hey, that's the word baseball. We talked about that word. Next one is also finding tricky words in the context of the story. So this is where you're focusing on, this one specifically was the letter Y at the end of words making the E sound. So they're going through the story and looking for words that actually have the letter Y in them. And again, to make it a little more fun and engaging, we pull out the magnifying glasses when looking for those words. So then the last part of the before reading portion of the lesson plan is actually setting a purpose for reading. This is so important so that kids actually know why they're reading today. So I have just a little thing on sentence strips. Today we are reading to find out, and I would read it right from there, why Holly joined the new baseball team. And then it also might say something that's a specific phonics skill or a general reminder, don't forget to use your strategies to solve new words. So now it's actually time for during reading. They're actually doing their reading. Yay, the best part. So for this one, the students are going ahead and looking at their own passage. They're going through and reading the story on their own. Guided reading, you are not reading to them. They're not all reading out loud at the exact same time, where they make sure they're, staying in sync. What they're doing is each kid is whisper reading, going through the story, trying those words on their own. You're listening into the different students. Again, if they're at a second grade or third grade reading level, I usually then let them read independently, and I just ask one student at a time to read out loud to me so that I can hear how they are doing. So then, while they're reading, like I said, you're listening in, and the lesson plan also provides prompts that you can say to the students to help them actually solve difficult words. And these prompts change based on the reading level that the student is at. So there are different ones that are appropriate for that specific level. So you might be saying, does this word have an added ending that you see? Can you find the base word? Those kind of things, just to get them to really focus on those words and different parts that they may know. The last piece of the lesson is comprehension. So in this one, in the after reading section, I have questions that are general questions that, again, match up to that level that you can ask the students and discuss together as a group, and then have the students each actually answer the questions that are directly on the page, directly related to that passage. So you might also want to write some of them on sentence strips. You might want to have the kids participate and have them being the leaders asking each other's questions, but really focusing on those questions that directly relate to the story so you can make sure that they understood what they were reading. Very last step that's included in these packs are running records. There's a running record for every single passage that's included. You can do this however you want. You might do one for each student once a month, once a week, whatever it is that works for your schedule. And you just want to use these as a way to make sure that students are reading at the appropriate level. So each running record has how many words are in the story, how they can get a frustrational score, which would mean they're going below 90%, instructional or independent, and you want them to be instructionally at that level that you're doing with them. If they're already independent, you should move them on to the next level. That's a great thing. If it's frustrational, I usually work with them, that student real specifically, to see what it is that's causing them not to be prepared for that level anymore. Or I might then, if it's something that's too severe, we might go back a level. At the upper levels, you will see that then they have to get 95% correct in order to actually be instructional. So that's all included in each of the passages packs in greater detail, so you know which levels the students are at. So as a reading specialist, obviously I love teaching reading, and I want my students and everyone to love reading, both the teachers who are teaching it and the students who are actually in the groups reading. So whether they're struggling readers or on target, these passages work for any students that you are wanting to have your guided reading groups organized and addressing their specific guided reading level. And since I do have so many levels from pre-A all the way to P, I highly recommend checking out my bundles, because I definitely have a lot of bundles of everything. So if you have a variety of levels in your class, I recommend checking those out for the very best deal. So thanks so much for listening, and please email me if you have any questions. Thanks. Bye.